us versus them. You know, whether you were in high school, it was North High versus South High, or the nerds versus the socias, the girls versus the guys. Everybody has a rivalry. You know, San Francisco, L.A., New York, Boston. But you know what? There may be a more profound and statistically significant larger picture. Consider, if you will, an exemplar of a pattern that's really kind of profound as we see it repeat. The United States and Canada. One's rich, powerful, makes the rules. One's smaller, goes along, but tends to be the performers, artists, free-form thinkers, and often the performers in the larger country. U.S., Canada. As we trot around the world, Guatemala, Mexico, and El Salvador with Honduras, Nicaragua with Costa Rica, and Panama, well, remember they used to be the zone, and we can call that a pair. South America, you have a lot of pairings. Colombia and Venezuela, boy, do they have different views on things. Noticing almost all of these have a common or similar language, maybe a different religion, different philosophy, a different economy. Colombia, Venezuela, the two Guianas, Ecuador, and Peru. Now, Bolivia and Paraguay have a historic hostile relationship with a very damaging Gran Chaco War. Argentina and Chileans, they don't get along. And, of course, then you have Uruguay, which is kind of a miniature Brazil. Finland and Estonia, similar language. Latvia, Lithuania, Sweden, Denmark. Boy, those folks do not get along, and yet we think of them as being similar. The Brits and the Irish, boy, everybody knows that one. Portugal and Spain, one is pretentious, the other says, let's be more civilized. France and the Walloons of Belgium, and likewise the Flemish of Belgium and the Dutch. Then, of course, there's the Germans and the Austrians. Boy, that's a perfect example. North and southern part of Italy, Russians and the Ukrainians, Poland and Belarus, and, of course, then you have Czechia and Slovakia. The more obvious one is the Serbs and the Croats, Albania and Kosovo. And this one's a little strange, but actually historically makes sense. Greece and Turkey. And then, of course, you have the former Macedonian Northern Republic with Bulgaria. And much like the recently created schism between Czechia and Slovakia is that of Romania and Moldova. In the Middle East, the obvious one is Israel and Palestine. Lebanon and Syria seem to be always two versions of each other. Jordan and Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Yemen, and some of the others. You might even, if you think about it, pair Kuwait and Iran. In Africa, you got Libya and Egypt as two versions of each other. I put Algeria with Morocco. One could have maybe said as well Tunisia. Many of them others pair up. Some of them maybe are a little bit of naivete on my part, but certainly the two Congos. And, well, you get the idea. And, of course, the obvious breakup again like before, the two Sudans. Yeah, well, there's the obvious Pakistan, India. You have Indonesia and Malaysia, very similar languages, very different viewpoints. Thailand and Cambodia, even the same alphabet, so to speak. The two Chinas, Korea and their historic hate relationship with the Japanese. You get the idea. And finally, well, we have Australia and New Zealand. Everybody knows the Kiwis are very different than the Aussies. And if you think about it, pairing up the historic relationship and backgrounds of the various other oceanic republics and islands. Something to think about, eh?